Hi friends, today I am going to discuss about the medical surgical nursing 2 and in this unit 1 oncology nursing. So in this first we are going to discuss about the rehabilitation. So rehabilitation, today topic is rehabilitation. So rehabilitation means there is a cancer rehabilitation is a doctor supervised program for people who have undergone treatment for cancer. So the rehabilitation program can be supervised by the doctor. So in this rehabilitation program for people who have undergone treatment for cancer, so who have undergone the cancer treatment for that patient, the rehabilitation can be, the program can be conducted by the doctor. So the doctor is supervised for the rehabilitation program who have undergone into the cancer treatment. It is designed to help patient return to activities of daily living. Cancer rehabilitation program. So the rehabilitation can be used to help the patient to return to do activities of daily living. So the patient, because of the cancer, the condition, because of the condition, the patient is not able to do the activity. So because of the cancer, the patient is not able to do the activities. So because of this rehabilitation, the patient is returned to do the activities of daily living. So the cancer rehabilitation program can improve the function and reduce pain and improve the well-being of cancer survivors. So because of this rehabilitation program, we can improve the function of the patient and we can reduce the pain. If the patient is having pain, and we can relieve the patient, relieve the pain of the patient and improve the well-being of the cancer. So improve the wellness of the patient. So because of this rehabilitation program, the patient become healthy and the patient can have the patient will have the pain. Because of the rehabilitation program, we can reduce the pain, and this is the rehabilitation program. So rehabilitation means there is a cancer rehabilitation is a doctor supervised program for people who have undergone treatment for cancer. So the rehabilitation can be done by under the supervision of the doctor, and it can be used for the who undergone treatment, who are undergone for cancer treatment. So for this cancer treatment, we can do the rehabilitation, and it is designed to help patient return to activities of daily living, and the patient is not able to do the daily activities. So by this rehabilitation, we can encourage the patient to do the daily activities, and by this rehabilitation, we can improve the function of the patient and reduce the pain and improve the wellness of the well-being of the cancer survivors. So it is called as rehabilitation. And the next one is cancer rehabilitation team. So there is a rehabilitation team. So in this rehabilitation team, the rehabilitation program can be conducted inpatient or outpatient basis. So the rehabilitation program can be conducted outpatient basis or inpatient basis. So admitted patient also we can do the rehabilitation program, or otherwise outpatient basis also we can conduct the rehabilitation program. And in this cancer rehabilitation team, there includes the oncologist and psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist and other specialty doctors can be involved in the cancer rehabilitation team. So in this cancer rehabilitation team, there is a oncologist and psychiatrist and other specialty doctors can also involved in the rehabilitation team, and rehabilitation specialist, and there is a dietitian. What are the nutrition status of the patient, and it can be assessed by the dietitian, and the dietitian can be give the education about the nutrition, and rehabilitation specialist, and what are the rehabilitation program, how the rehabilitation has to be conducted by the rehabilitation specialist and the dietitian, and the there is a social worker and the recreational therapist. So because of the cancer, the patient becomes sad and he is become very weak. So by this recreational therapist, by this recreational therapy, and we can divert the mind of the patient. So there is a involvement of the recreational therapist and there is a counselor. So the counselor can be give the advices and we give the education to the patient and the family members about the rehabilitation program. So the counselor can be involved in the cancer rehabilitation team. So there is a counselor and the rehabilitation therapist and the social worker. So by the counselor we can give the education to the patient and the family members about the rehabilitation program. So in this cancer rehabilitation team there is a oncologist and the psychiatrist and the other specialty doctors, rehabilitation specialist and the dietitian and social worker and the recreational therapist and the counselor. So in the cancer rehabilitation program can be conducted and the outpatient basis or inpatient basis we can conduct the rehabilitation program. Next one is cancer rehabilitation program. It designed to meet the needs of the patient and depending on the specific type of cancer and treatment. The cancer rehabilitation program can be used to meet the needs of the patient and depending on the specific type of cancer and the treatment. So the rehabilitation program can be conducted, it can be depend on the type of the cancer and the treatment. So it can be depend on the type and treatment of the cancer and the rehabilitation program can be conducted to meet the needs of the patient and active involvement of patient and the family members in this cancer rehabilitation program and encourage the family members and the patient to participate in the program. So in this the cancer rehabilitation program there is a design to meet the needs of the patient and depending on the specific type of cancer and the treatment. The cancer rehabilitation program can be depending on the cancer type and the treatment and we can encourage the family members and the patient to involve in this rehabilitation program. And the main goals of the rehabilitation includes the managing pain. So managing pain, by the rehabilitation we can manage the pain by giving medicines or anti-analgesics we can reduce the pain of the patient. So the goal is managing pain. By administering the pain medications we can relieve the pain of the patient. Next one, improving bowel and bladder function. So we can improve the bowel and bladder function. So by improving mobility of the patient we can improve the bowel and bladder function of the patient. Next one is improving nutritional status. So by giving education to the patient and the family members about the nutrition and the we can improve the nutritional status of the patient. Next one is improving physical condition by the exercise. So because of the cancer condition the patient become very weak. So by this rehabilitation program we can improve the physical condition of the patient, like by conducting the exercises and yoga, by we can improve the physical condition of the patient. And next one is reducing hospitalization. So by improving the physical condition and we can reduce the hospitalization. So because of this rehabilitation and we can reduce the hospitalization of the patient. So next one is decrease the sleep problems. So because of the condition of the patient is not able to sleep properly. So by this rehabilitation we can decrease the sleep problems. And next one is nutrition counseling. So we can give the counseling to the patient and the family members about the nutrition. And next one is patient and family education. So we can give the education to the patient and the family members about the rehabilitation program and the uses of the rehabilitation program. We can educate to the patient and the family members. So these are all the goals of the rehabilitation. Includes the managing pain and improving the bowel and bladder function and improving the nutritional status and the improving the physical condition of the patient by doing exercise and the yoga. And next one is reducing the hospitalization and decreasing the sleep problems. And next one, nutritional counseling and patient and family education about the rehabilitation program. Stoma is surgically created opening which allows the elimination of body waste such as urine and feces from the body. It may be permanent or temporary. So stomal therapy is a stomal therapy. Next is stomal therapy. And stoma is a surgically created opening which allows the elimination of body waste such as urine, feces from the body. It may be permanent or temporary. So there is a stomal therapy means the stoma is surgically created opening. Stoma means there is a opening created by surgically. So the stoma is surgically created opening which allows the elimination of body waste. So by this opening there is a elimination of waste by such as urine and feces from the body. Urine and feces from the body, and it can be eliminated by this opening. The opening can be created by surgically. So by this surgery there is a creating of opening which allows the elimination of body waste such as urine and feces from the body. It may be permanent or temporary. The stoma, the opening can be permanent or temporary, and there is a surgical opening of the creating the surgical opening which allows the elimination of body waste such as urine and feces from the body, and it is called as stomal therapy. It may be permanent or temporary. Next one, people need a stoma care. So who need the stomal care? Then we are going to discuss about the people need a stoma care. Trauma to the bowel or trauma to the bowel. So if any injury to the bowel or any injury or infection to the bowel, it can cause the trauma to the bowel. So because of this trauma to the bowel there is a need of stomal therapy. So because of the trauma to the bowel there is a surgically create the opening into the bowel by eliminate the by the surgery there is a create the opening into the bowel. So by this opening there is a elimination of waste from the body. Because of the trauma to the bowel there is a injury to the bowel, there is a need of stoma there is a opening. And next one is cancer radiation. There is a radiation means if the patient have cancer, if you are treating with radiation therapy, and because of the high rates of radiation therapy there is a injury to the bowel. So because of this high radiation the bowel become injured. So because of this radiation there is a stomal therapy can be done, and because of this injury to the bowel there is a need of stomal therapy can be used to create the opening into the bowel. And next one is congenital. Congenital means there is a by birth itself there is a opening can be absent. So if the by birth itself the anal opening can be absent. So by birth itself there is a anal opening can be closed. So by this anal opening cannot be present. Because of this the patient is not able to pass urine or feces. So because of this by birth itself there is a abnormal opening. So there is a because of this congenital there is a stomal therapy can be done. And because of the congenital problems there is a absence of anal opening, there is a absence of anal opening because of this stromal therapy can be done. Next one is bowel condition. Because of the bowel problems, there is a bowel problems, trauma or any injury to the bowel. Because of these bowel conditions, there is a need of stromal therapy. So these are all the needed stoma care. So first one is trauma to the bowel. So injury to the bowel, there is a need of stromal therapy and cancer radiation. And because of the cancer condition, if you are giving radiation therapy, and because of the radiation therapy, there is a using of high rays in the radiation therapy. Because of this injury to the bowel, so there is a need of stromal therapy in the cancer patient. And next one is damage to the bowel, and next one is congenital. So by birth itself there is a abnormal opening will be present. So because of this abnormal opening, there is a need of stromal therapy. And next one is bowel condition. So if there is any injury to the bowel, there is a need of stromal therapy. Next one is types, includes the types of stromal therapy. In this includes first one is colostomy, and next one is ileostomy and ileal conduit. So in this first one is colostomy. There is a surgical opening into the large bowel. It may be temporary or permanent. So in this colostomy means there is a surgical opening can be created into the large bowel. Means large bowel means there is a colon. So in this colostomy, there is a surgical opening can be surgical opening can be done into a large bowel. It means there is a colon. So there is a opening created into the colon by the abdomen. So it is called as colostomy. There is a surgical opening into the large bowel. It is colon, and it may be temporary or permanent. It can be the colostomy opening can be temporary or permanent. So it is called as colostomy. Next one is ileostomy. Ileostomy, there is a surgical opening into the small bowel. There is a small bowel means there is a ileum. So in this ileostomy, there is a surgical opening can be created through the abdomen into the ileum. Ileum, small bowel means there is a ileum. The ileostomy, it may be temporary or permanent. It is called as ileostomy. There is a surgical opening into the small bowel. It is ileum, and there is a opening can be created through the abdomen into the ileum, and it may be temporary or permanent. It is called as ileostomy. Next one is ileal conduit. Ileal conduit means there is a stoma made from a piece of small bowel to divert urine. So in this ileal conduit, there is a stoma opening can be created from the piece of small bowel. So small intestine from the opening can be done, and the piece of small bowel to divert the urine. So to eliminate the urine, the piece of small bowel can be from the small bowel. There is a opening can be created, and the tube can be inserted into the small bowel. So from this tube, the urine can be eliminated, and it is called as ileal conduit. The stoma made from a piece of small bowel to divert the urine. So the stoma can be opening can be done into the small bowel, and one tube the tube is inserted into the small bowel. So by this tube, the urine can be eliminated. It is called as ileal conduit. So the types includes the colostomy, ileostomy, and ileal conduit. So colostomy means the surgical opening can be created into the colon, and it is temporary. It may be temporary or permanent. It is called as colostomy. Next one, ileostomy. The surgical opening can be created into the small bowel. It is nothing but ileum, and the opening can be created by the abdomen into the ileum. So it may be temporary or permanent. It is called as ileostomy. And next one is ileal conduit. So in this ileal conduit, there is a opening can be made into the small bowel, and the tube is inserted, and by this tube the urine can be eliminated. It is called as ileal conduit. Next one is PEG. There is a percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. So it is a tube inserted surgically into the stomach through the abdomen. So percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy means there is a tube and it can be inserted into the stomach through the abdomen by surgically. So by the surgery we can making the incision into the through the abdomen into the stomach, we are inserting the tube. It is called as percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. There is a inserting a tube into the stomach by the abdomen by the surgery. By the surgery we are inserting the tube into the stomach by the through the abdomen. It is called as percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. Next one is care of the tubing. How we will care means, first one is use warm soapy water to rinse after each feed. So the percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy, when patient is not able to take food by mouth, if patient is not able to take food by the mouth, so if the patient is having oral cancer or the patient having any difficulty in swallowing, so for this patient we are using the percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. So the care of tubing includes the use warm soapy water to rinse after each feed. So after the feeding each feed, so we can rinse the tube by the soapy warm water. So by the warm water we can rinse the tube. And next one is rinse out with plain water and using 50 ml syringe. So by using the 50 ml syringe we can rinse the soapy water by the plain water. So in 50 ml syringe we can take the plain water and we can push into the tube. So by this we can rinse the warm soapy water. Next one is take out 30 minutes prior to feeding to soft tube. So before the 30 minutes of feeding we can rinse the tube with water prior to feeding to soft the tube. So we can rinse the tube before feeding of the 30 minutes. Before the 30 minutes of feeding we can rinse the tube with plain water. So the care of tubing includes, first we can use the warm soapy water, and next one is rinse with about 50 ml syringe. So we can take the 50 ml syringe and plain water and we can rinse the tube with plain water. Next one is before the feeding of the 30 minutes, and we can rinse the tube with the plain water. And these are the care of the tubing. There is a percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. It is a tube inserted surgically into the stomach through the abdomen. So the patient is not able to take any food by the mouth. If the patient having any difficulty in swallowing or the oral cancer, we can insert the tube. It is called as percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. There is a tube inserted surgically into the stomach through the abdomen. So it is called as percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy. So thank you.